fighters are teaming up all the time in Dragon Ball Z, now players can team up in the real world too.
The ARG Circuit Series is proud to present Team Wars.
ARG will track your 6-person team's progress throughout the entire Dragon Ball Series circuit event. They'll tally the scores for each team through the finals. Teams earn points for every win. Each team accumulates points for their team every round. A win nets you 3 points, a draw 1 point, no points for a loss. The 2 highest scoring teams will face off on ARG's Twitch channel after the Circuit Series main event live.
Each team can have a maximum of 6 players, and each player must wear a matching shirt or jersey. For a full list of rules and prizes, go to argcircuitseries.com and look for Team Wars under the Dragon Ball Super category. A Saiyan has no limits. Do you? Prove to the world that your team is the best by participating at the ARG Circuit Series Team Wars.
So going into game 2, you would imagine just having Richard's strategy be more defensive. You know that this aggression is going to be coming just at you at full force. You know, it's like getting hit by a train. You know, you don't want that to happen. How do you prevent it? And I think a lot of, not only just Mecha Frieza decks, but a lot of decks in general have a hard time with something that can go and just come out of nowhere and hit you for, 3 damage. And you look at your life and you say, what happened to it?
Yeah. No, this Mustang really goes out the gate really early, so you got to be very careful, and you got to know what attacks to take and what attacks not to take. And I think Richard did a decent job of that, but I just really think, I don't know, that Flying Nimbus play was not something that I would have 100% went with, just because I think it was a little bit premature, and I think he should have saved it for something down the line where it was just very critical for him to not take a hit, and I felt like he just threw it away way too prematurely. But you just got to play a little bit more defensive if you're Richard, and maybe Turbo Awakening isn't the solution. So
I think you take this one very slow.
Yeah.
You don't always do the play 4 Manakas, draw 8 cards. Oh, I'm awakened turn 1. Because against this type of deck, they want to play the shorter game. Their early aggression can really just spell terror for the Frieza. And I think if he plays this significantly slower, I think it'll be significantly better for Richard to be able to sustain living. I mean, that was pretty much the problem, is all of a sudden he was at 3 life.
Richard's just got to, what Mecha Frieza does best, especially with the veggie package, is go very wide. And he's just got to go very wide because Darren's just going to go wide. If you give Darren time, then he's going to go wider than you are.
Yeah.
So Richard's got to just take advantage that the Mustang doesn't really run much disruption. Give or take just the... Got it? Oh, nice. Danny Hype is in there. He's in there in the top 32, secured what it seems like. And record of what, X1-1? X2? Oh, X2. All right. So we're still praying, actually. All right, we're still praying. We'll see.
My fingers crossed for you, man.
It seems like it's pretty high chance, but we'll see, because it is going to be a very competitive top 32.
There is a lot of people
There's a lot
fighting.
of players. That is a lot of players, and there's going to be a lot of X2. I wouldn't be surprised if some get shorted out here. The question is, who's going to get shorted out here? Because there's a lot of X2s. There's a lot of good players here. It's all going to go down to the math, the tiebreakers, and who you've played through the day.
I really hope it's not the Zamasu deck. For record, I tried to get that one on stream. That's all right though. It was he was playing against Mecha Frieza. Surprise, surprise, right? But he was on, I think, table 15, and I'm pulling for him. I love, as much as I love to see Mecha Frieza play well, I like to see things that people can do to counteract that deck, and I think that is definitely kind of a cool strat, in my opinion.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it looks like he did get the Planet Vegeta turn 1. Yeah, because I think that's 6. I can't tell from here. But, yeah, so I think he's starting off fairly strong with the Planet Vegeta. Wish I could see that whenever I had my opening hands. I always seem to see it when it's a little bit too late for me, honestly.
Oh, really? That's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. But he's playing a lot of the Relentless Mirrors, so that means he is taking cards out of his opponent's hand, which I do I do agree, because Mecha Frieza, I mean, you give them enough time, they're going to have the 12 to 15 card hand. And how are you going to combo out when they have so many resources compared to your, 5-6 cards? But he's hitting for the double crit. I think it's 10, 25? 25? The magic number, in my opinion. Actually, I learned that from Dusty, saying that 25 is a magic number. Because you have to use a 10k and something else. And he's putting a lot of pressure on, my goodness. Up, and I think that just got hit with a... Oh, Crusher Ball, okay. So this is almost kind of reminding me of Game 1 a little bit, where the Mecha Frieza player is already very, very low on life, and the Mass Saiyan player is just putting Saiyan Kaba and, some Overrealm cards on the field to where it's put enough pressure that turn 2 he's awakening. And I think that is not the strategy you should be implementing. But, Richard is on the top tables. I believe he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just feel you're going too hard in for the little results I think you're going to get, especially this early, because he could just drop another Kaba, and now I'm sweating more bullets because I've gotten rid of a sense of being a Nimbus again.
And another unfortunate hit for the Trunks here.
He's had some unfortunate ones with him. He's hit some cards that would really be nice in the hand.
Yes.
The sense of being in a Nimbus, for sure.
No, yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. But if you're Richard, I don't blame him turboing out here with Mecha here. Because as you turbo out, you see more options, you see more cards, and you're able to play these cards maybe more effectively or faster than your opponent. And the whole point is just go over your opponent. You just want to go over your opponent. You want to cast these spells. You want to cast them just much faster than your opponent is, and go a little bit wider and just hit your opponent with something that not every deck can do. Not every deck can go and just put out as many threats as you can, especially with the with the Sagesh into Kaba into Khalifa, and that's just something that we haven't seen enough from Richard, unfortunately, and it's just it's really unfortunate.
Wait, I thought that was one of the set 1 promo Broly's, the 5-drop, and I think that was a Kale. I'm hoping he's not playing that, because I feel like it's not worth it, but I'm seeing things. I think I'm going crazy. Been in this room too long.
Yeah. Champion of EL. PPG members still alive. We got 3 out of 4, so only 1 dead here. Well, not even dead. I think Alejandro's still X2, so we're not even dead here. Did he win? Justin Rios confirmed in there with an X1 record. Fantastic Good showing job. Day 1. That is the first secured PPG member into the top 32. X1 will guarantee him a spot into that prestigious top cut. Still waiting on Bella, which is currently X1-1, and Alejandro Mena, which is X2, and one more, which is Boris Budakov at X1 record as well. Just taking down Marcus Kantarsi, I think his name is, from Shenron Slayer. So
You're
a huge,
the wrong person on pronunciation there.
A huge hit from, a huge hit from Boris, taking down a very, I think one of the top players in the West Coast, for sure. And very valuable win, and he's still sitting at a strong X1, so we're going to see how those guys finish up. We'll let you guys know, but for sure we got Danny Hype in, X2, but that's not a for sure in. And we have Justin Rios at X1, just securing that top 32 list. A list of top 32, if you want to join our group, Pro Play Games Miami, Dragon Ball Super Players, we should have the standings up there immediately. And another place where you can find the top 32 pairings is, I believe ARG Circuit Series will be posting it in their group. I don't know when. There's a lot of events still going on.
I think they do that with their the pairings, don't they, as well?
Yes, and their pairings are on there right now too. So if you do have any, if you are at the event and you are watching the stream here, I guess it's too late now, but they do.
Or if you're rooting for a person, you really want to see him do well, and you're not there, but you can cheer him on in spirit. Yep. You can be like, all right, he's on table 12. I got a spirit bomb for him. Give him his energy.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go and join that group, you can actually see the pairings and see exactly how many points they have and who they're playing against.
Plus, I think they were doing some pictures too. saw the guy with the camera running around taking pictures and videos, and I think they said you were going to start putting them up there too. So be on the lookout for some pictures and some other cool stuff. It's definitely a site that I will be joining here in a minute. They also had the Facebook Live streams as well. They had some.
I
feature
saw that
matches,
first time that they did that.
and I think it was a great step. It's definitely something.
The more matches, the better.
Yeah, because then we can grow and see, hey, this is a cool strategy. Why is he on table 1? Well, here you are. So, really right now, the Frieza player is trying to sustain as much as he can with the Kaba and the Sugesh, really just getting him to accelerate some cards, get some more advantage, try and figure out how are we going to stop this. And I think Kale is a good way to stop. It's a little unfortunate he has to tap out for this, but I think it's definitely worth it, putting that pressure on.
Especially if he's drawing a card. I don't even know if he has enough cards in hand to draw, but
can't tell from here. He kind of holds it a little funky, but I think he's not drawing.
Yeah, he has 7. No, he's not drawing.
Yeah. But I think this is one of the biggest turns right here for Daryan. If he can put enough pressure on, he might be able to take it. Might be able to take it from Richard's grasps with crushing his dreams of top 32. It's always unfortunate to see that, people who travel so far and, they've been practicing their deck for months at a time, weeks at a time, putting all this hours in, and to lose on the bubble, it's definitely it hurts. I've been on the receiving end of that. I had my top shares of losing to 33rd, and it's not exactly a fun feeling. I know you probably never had that experience.
No,
right?
I've actually had it. Yeah, no, I've had that against Dusty, actually. I was in the bubble trying to get my winning in at, I believe it was Richmond or Indianapolis, the only event that he actually played. And unfortunately for me, he had played Chrisabella in the mirror match, learned a lot from the mirror match from Chrisabella, and then I proceeded to play Dusty in the mirror match, and he was like, I'm going to use the same thing that Abella used against you. And I was just like, well, I really didn't expect for other people to know how to play the mirror match, so I just lose, and he just drew just a little bit better. His deck was also better for the mirror match. Like, he had Princess Speed, Vegeta.
Oh, yes.
And in that mirror match, it was just, like, so much better.
Yeah, but...
Really insane. So I got really daggered there, and then after that, he recruited me to be on stream so that I didn't have to beat any more of his players. And very strategic move from...
taking out one of the head honchos, the big threat on the field,
That was a very skilled maneuver.
We appreciate you on the commentary desk, bringing a lot of insight to the game.
Thank you. I try.
I'm not as experienced as you, but definitely it's been a treat to have you here and at least having the ability to bounce some ideas and maybe even just talk Dragon Ball Super.
Thank you. This is the funnest thing that I get to do all weekend, so I'm super glad to do it.
Oh, you didn't want to judge side events all day long?
No, heck no. It's so much funner. Like, I'm pretty much judging, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm judging every single player here. I'm criticizing them, and I'm also making sure that they don't get away with some plays, which I think we've been really good at, making sure any of the players haven't gotten away with something. And I think the stream players have been really good, really attentive, because I know in Indianapolis it was just it wasn't Indianapolis, it was Charlotte, I believe. Mm-hmm. A bunch of players on stream just doing things that they can't do. It's just like, you forgot this, or you did this that you couldn't do, or blah blah blah.
So I'm glad that I think it's a big thing is a lot of people are now learning a lot quicker. The first couple regionals we're still trying to figure out everything. Yes, you're supposed to have some form of mastery, but I think now that people have been playing for almost quite some time now, it's getting close to a year around here soon. That now that we're all getting familiar with cards and learning how to play and what should we do here in this situation. And I think that just comes with time. Every game you always have those rough patches at the beginning, and I think there's nothing to avoid that. Yeah. It's growing pains.
Exactly. So, but it looks like the community is warming up. A lot of these guys are taking this game very seriously, which is great for the competitive scene. And it looks like a lot of people came prepared and know exactly, what's going on, which is great.
Yes.
You never want to see people in just confusion and doubt and just like, oh man, Richard going down back to 1 here, right?
This is the scary
This is exactly,
part of
this
Frieza.
is the most scary part. And, and the Mass Saiyan player just here. And you can see how easy of a matchup this is for Mass Saiyan. Mass Saiyan is actually very good against veggies, but very mediocre against Mecha Apes, which is why you don't see, because Mecha Apes is usually played a little bit more than veggies, especially here. Veggies, I think, has a higher ceiling, a little bit harder to pilot, but it is something that you see a little bit less of, and that's probably why you didn't see too many Mass Saiyans do well. I think this was just an event that many people were just like, Mecha Frieza or bust, and
I think
you got to give props to Daryan.
I've been calling him Darren, but
Darren. Yeah, Darren. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's Darren. And he had, he was confident enough to bring something that wasn't Mecha Frieza to the table, and he's doing very well with it. It seems like it's a very clean match. It's not even like I feel like it's not even a competition at this point. And
I don't know about you, but I kind of looked over when Richard took that one last life, and now he's at 1. And his eyes kind of got, like in the cartoon, his eyes got big. He's like, all right, man, we can get there. We just need to, we can bring out a Jiren and then just dump our entire hand. And, oh, look at that. It's interesting to see the interactions and body language of players, especially because you can't really see it. You just see their hand and fingers. So I think it's definitely really interesting, I think the last round or the round before that, Guy was struggling. He wasn't seeing what he needed to see in his deck, and it really took a toll on him. And now you see Daryan, who's really just, he's very comfortable. He doesn't look like he's shaking. His plays are very confident. And I think because of these reasons, I think this is going to be a big reason on why he's going to win this game.
Young J93, here's your shout out. Thanks for watching. Shout out to all 300 of you. Maintaining a very, very solid stream presence.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. This is very late night. I think in the East Coast, which is where I'm from Miami, and I think it's like 2 a.m. or something like that, or 1 a.m. And shout out to everyone who's still watching from home. Really appreciate you guys. And if you guys need to go, I totally understand. This is all going to be on the Kitchen Table Meta YouTube page. So make sure you guys are subscribed. You are followed. And, take one. Take one. I have a bunch. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But, thank you guys so much, again, for watching. Super late night here. It's all the way in the East Coast. West Coast.
It's late enough right now. I know that they're closing down the shop around here. Everything's getting put away for tomorrow. And I don't know about you, but, man, I don't think people are wanting to leave. There's still just an entire group of people just...
Yeah, there's still a lot of people in this convention.
And crazy. They said they were going to close in, 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
All right, so back to this. We have an increasing Mass Saiyan that is... Oh, gosh. I swore I blinked and Darren is now at 1 life, and I think now we kind of have a game, but I still feel in Darren's body language from just looking over there, he seems very confident. He's not shaking. And I think this is just due to playing, play testing a lot, knowing the familiarities of your match, and just trying to figure out maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. And I think this is just him playing a lot more. And I don't know, maybe Richard just seems to be playing very dangerously, in my opinion, and I don't know if that's going to help him, but I think this turn is going to be very crazy. Richard's got quite the setup here. He's got a Kale, leaders, and quite the hand there from what I see. It's at least a couple, I think a Sugesh or and a Sensu Bean of some kind, and I think he can do some shenanigans now. So, and yes, let's see. I think this turn, if Richard makes one big push, I think he can get over the hump. and push this to a game 3 where...
Yeah, the Zamasu stays tapped. Yeah, it's
yes,
tapped.
yep,
Yes.
it is. They, the judge there realized it, and I think they realized it after it untapped as well. So I'm glad that they were able to find that. I didn't want to have to run over there.
That card would be insane.
Yes, that would be a little bit too good, in my opinion. Also, so Kale is swinging into the leader. And oh boy, Cell Absorption, actually. I'm surprised by that. I didn't think he was playing Hand Destruction Frieza, because it's just veg. So far, everything we've seen indicates that he wouldn't be playing a Hand Destruction type of deck. He played Cell Absorption. And I thought...
That's pretty...
that is pretty unique.
Yeah, that is really unique.
But I appreciate the deck, the theory crafting and figuring out new strategies. Oh my, that is a lot of combo. That is 20, 30?
Yeah,
30?
it looks like Richard's taking the opportunity here, and those tokens are going to put in some combo power as well.
Maybe. I know we have some tokens over there. Maybe. Oh, yep, they were just finding them. That is a lot. I don't know if Daryan can come back from this. Ooh. Oh, we're adding more.
I mean, if it's lethal, there's no reason to just go all in here.
Yeah.
No reason to not go all in.
Do we... Ooh, good question. Oh, and he's going to combo with the Zamasus as well? Yes. I don't see Daryan coming back from this, unless he's got... I mean, he must... Yep, nope, scoop it. Oh, no, never mind. It looked like he was scooping. All right. We need a couple more super combos. And the concession. All right. So, coming back from the depths there, we were both in the danger zone. I'll admit, I've kind of turned away from a second to look at the body language of Daryan, and all of a sudden he went from 3 life to 1 life, and Richard has now made this a game. I think it was, even though he was at 1 life, I think he had that slow, methodical pace that really kept the Masked Saiyan on his toes. Because the game, he didn't put a super aggressive pressure on. It was just he was very calculated, and I think that was the correct way to play against an aggressive deck like this.
Yeah, I think Richard actually came into the game with a little bit more of a game plan and what he needed to do. He did take a lot of damage early, but I think that's what you just need to do, unfortunately, just to get a little bit farther ahead than your opponent. And the faster you get farther ahead of your opponent, the faster you can start beating them in. So I think Richard took a pretty good game plan there. I don't know if those Zamasus were in the main or in the side, but
I would hope.
I think that Zamasu was great. Yeah.
I
mean, I would probably just play 1 in the main just because your Goku Black just gets infinite more value on the summon or anytime you play it.
Yes,
it just searches you a free card. But I've seen people main like 2, side the second copy or side the third copy, and then even go as far as playing the 7-drop that you fuse for 5.
It was very unique now that we learned a little bit more about Richard and his deck style, whether it is really just if he is maining the Cell Absorptions. I think that is an amazing idea, because I think not only just with the resiliency of the veggies, having that Hand Destruction really puts a lot of pressure on you, and I think this is a great thing to see in both not only just his performance, but in deck building and theory crafting. How do we improve my deck? How do we have it beat certain matchups? And I think he's done a very good job with it.
Yeah. So we're gonna get 2 different options here from Richard on the Trunks. You're gonna get the Trunks Overseeing Time, and you're gonna get a Goku Black. And it looks like you went with the Goku Black. Goku Black, not a terrible option here. Actually, very good against Daryan, because not only does it give you a 1500 body, it gives you 2 tokens with a 5k combo as well as 10k attack. So for 3 energy, you essentially, or free energy, because you can just Shigesh it out. It's just very good defensively and offensively, and I think that's one of I think that's probably one of the game winners here for Richard. I think that has to be MVP, the Goku Black Rose. Yes. Not only is it fantastic at offense, it's very, very good at the defensive side too. So
it is definitely a strong card. I've seen it a lot at least the local play, and just how much impact it has on a lot of people. They almost fear the card now, and And I'm beginning to see why people are beginning to fear it. I came in overconfident, and I've been on the receiving end of that combo, and it's just, you don't realize it's devastating until afterwards, and you realize, holy crap, what had happened. And I think this deck has shown me, and it has convinced me that I feel this Mecha Frieza deck may give this Mass Saiyan a run for his money.
Yeah, it's cut to top 32 for day 2.
Yep.
And there's not really a guaranteed points or record that gets you into that top 32. So we're just going to have to see the standings after this round and see exactly what comes up. But really interesting from Daryan. That's the first time I see the Haru Haru. I hadn't seen it all game. So
I think
that has to be pretty good.
I've been seeing a lot of people side it lately because they want to have that advantage, and I thought it does bring a lot of power to playing a deck like Mass Saiyan where you can restand that energy. Is that the stand-up energy one, or is that the block one? I apologize. I can't.
Stand-up energy. Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay. I was making sure. I was like, I didn't want to.
It was promoted as a top 64, but I think what happened was it was promoted as a top 64 payout, or just promoted as a top 64 if we had like a certain amount of players. But because of all the drops, it ended up going below what we needed on players. So that's what I think happened, and then it just cut it down to the top 32, but still top 64 payout from what I understand.
Yes, I believe that's how that was, because we had quite the number to start today. I think we had around 500 some odd.
Yeah, we had 500. It was 500 exactly.
Oh,
but we had 570 registered.
Oh wow.
But we had 70 refunds. So.
Okay. But I mean, that's a huge step, because the last regional I went to was Las Vegas, and they had roughly about 370 or close to it. And seeing that only in a short amount of time we went from that much to 500. That is crazy, and I'm happy to see that this game is growing at the rate it's going. Yeah, we are not getting out of here in 5 minutes. I'm sorry, there's no way.
Once again, you have 5 minutes until the room is closed to those not participating in the DBS event.
So only for the visitors and the.
So the Haru Haru finally making an appearance on board.
The Haru Haru
For the Mass Saiyan player,
honestly,
untapping all the energy.
Did he just pass on top of that? No, he couldn't.
No,
Definitely not.
He's just pointing at the Haru Haru, being like, "Does this resolve? Is this fine?" Because
Oh,
Richard
yeah.
can Cold Bloodlust, and that's not the worst play. Cold Bloodlusting the Haru Haru effectively ends the Mass Saiyan player's turn.
Yes, it is definitely a big power swing. And
Not only does it take away critical, which you're probably going to lose a life from critical anyways, but it also just prevents you from extending your plays. So just a very powerful card for sure. The critical on Haru Haru, and it essentially being just free to cast.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people side the Haru Haru today, and I think it has definitely come in super clutch for a lot of people, just extending combos, and I think something we can definitely take advantage of. But I feel after this, the errata to Mecha Frieza is going to be coming, and we might not see it as prevalent as we did today or this weekend, unless I'm missing a yellow deck that's. I mean, there's a couple.
We're gonna have
I can think
Ginyu.
of.
Yeah, Ginyu's gonna be very prevalent. Bardock, the new Bardock 8 leader is gonna be pretty good, I think.
That one's going to be interesting. I think I'm more excited for Hercule, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems interesting to try to make work, but it might be a little bit of a reach just because the ability is an activate main and not an activate battle. I think if it was an activate battle, I think it would have been significantly better.
But a man can dream. A man can dream to make Hercule the strongest human being there is.
Jeremy, this game, gameplay relevant to Yu-Gi-Oh! Not too much. Yu-Gi-Oh! You can just do whatever you want, whenever you want, whenever you want. The closest to the game has gotten to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually this point right here with Mecha Frieza, just because you're actually playing a lot of cards, a lot of spells. I guess you would compare them to in Yu-Gi-Oh! You play your spells for free in this game because of Mecha Frieza, but post errata on the Mecha Frieza, which, arguably Yu-Gi-Oh would ban cards. DBS for now is just errata-ing for now, but they've only had to errata like 2 cards, 2 or 3 cards, but for only it being set 3. But right now it's very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh just because you can play your cards for free. But otherwise, it's not very. I mean, like, this is a resource-based game, so you normally just have to have energy to play cards. You need to sequence your cards correctly. You have a lot of freedom to do a lot of what you want in the battle phase, because your battle phase and your main phase is all one step. So you don't have to. You can go in and out of combat. You can cast a creature, then attack, then cast another creature and attack. So not too similar to Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that this game is just mostly comparable to Magic the Gathering, and then Vanguard. Vanguard probably is a pretty good comparison as far as the combos go, and then Pokemon as far as the prizes go, and Magic as well with the commanders. Your leader's pretty much your commander, to be honest. But
And to follow up on your next question as well, I had saw it was why do Yu-Gi-Oh players go to Dragon Ball Super? From personal experience, I went from playing Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of it, I don't know about you, but the game was very, you had to play this deck if you wanted to do well. Granted, this is definitely exactly by that rule, you have to play Mecha Frieza to play. But I think aside from this is, I feel the outlier, because every event prior to this has been a different leader that has won, and having the creativity, the deck building, I think it's just something new that people are trying out. I always call it the flavor of the month.
No, there's infinite more variety. I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have an FTK after a ban list. Like, there's not much. There's not much that they put into R&D or even thinking about, like, many of the decisions, to the point where it makes it an enjoyable game at this point. I feel like it's just gotten to a point where I feel like they're not dedicating as much as they care about. I feel like they're just more interested in printing, product and selling it. But I feel like this game very interactive. The company knows about feedback, and if there's ever a problem, they usually address it fairly quickly. And it's just a game that is modeled after so many more popular games like Magic the Gathering and such.
Also, we always knew we were watching Dragon Ball when we were little kids.
It's also fantastic, because it also does play to just the feeling, just playing Dragon Ball, and obviously almost everyone I've met, I've never met anybody who's not a fan of Dragon Ball, to be honest.
I find it very hard to believe that people aren't fans.
Yeah, DBS is the cheapest game on the market by
Definitely.
far. If you want to play them at a deck, you are spending infinite less money than you would in Yu-Gi-Oh. You also are not prone to Megatin. I like to call it the Megatin syndrome, where the company normally likes to take the most valuable cards in the game and then put them in a product where you want to spend all your money in, and then significantly depreciate the value of every single card in your deck. So that's something that's great, because this game does not reprint from so far, and that's great.
Yes.
There's no rotation like in Magic, so your cards don't go from like $10 to like a penny.
Yeah, I've seen that happen a lot to people where they were playing Magic and working at a game store. I've seen people are like, yes, this card was like $20 2 weeks ago. Oh, well, 2 weeks ago, and a set was announced, and oh look, it's no longer in rotation. Now this $20 card was $1. And I can see the frustration for people like that, because that's also how it is in Pokemon. If you want to play a good deck, you have to continue buying product. And I think I call it a scam. It's just how they get you to spend your money.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a fine line between, obviously a business printing product to make money, but then a situation where, you just force the players in this position where they need to spend all this money for this product, and then effectively, after a certain time is up, make their cards essentially worthless. So
I thought he was comboing out, and I looked at his life. I had to double check, and that's 3. Sorry, So it's 3 life to 3. And why is he doing this much damage? Does he have lethal?
Actually, Yu-Gi-Oh's like the secondary market has been like crazy these past few months. If you see like House of Champs and all these other market watches, almost everything is worth something for almost no reason. There's a lot of speculation in the game.
Yes.
As soon as they announce something that, oh man, this might get support. Oh man, everything gets bought out, and next thing you know, you got to pay like 5 times the amount. I think Infernoids now are just like $1 billion, and it's just like there's no reason.
They kind of go up and down based on events.
Yeah, and then before you know it, reprint hammer, and then you just start the cycle over and over again.
Well, I figured out why he comboed out so much, but that seems strange to me that he would go that far just to bring out this double striker. He did get... that was... I just totally spaced. Flying Nimbus, there you go. Okay. Sorry, I just saw something, and I was curious why he comboed so much with the Kaba, but I guess that was to also get enough for the warp. So.
Thanks, Jeremy. That means a lot. We try to do as much as we can as far as information, and trying to involve ourselves with the stream, and at the same time trying to let you know exactly the thought process between these professional players, because a lot of these guys are very talented. They come from very good backgrounds. Obviously, none of these guys have just started playing, Dragon Ball out of nowhere and they play no other card games. A lot of these come from Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic. They know how to play card games. They know how to play them very well, and this is it's great to see them use their skill and knowledge from other games to make them better at this game. And these guys are successing very well at that. And it's a very fun game. It's very cheap, like I said, very fun. And it's only going to get better after this errata comes into play May 1st.
I think, at least I don't know about your locals, but my locals have been, everybody has been playing it, and I understand it's to get the last hurrah. And I was subject to that as well. I wanted to play Mecha Frieza one more time, but I think with this coming up, I think it really has to start fixing, you got to imagine what is going to be good now.
Holy Twisted. He actually resolved a Twisted Justice.
Wait,
wow.
Really? Good grief.
That is so hard to resolve, especially against an aggressive deck. And I was actually hinting towards it at the beginning of last game. I was just like, I wonder if he's playing, a lot of people are playing the 2-drop Zamasu. Yeah. People are playing multiple copies.
Good
and I wouldn't be surprised if he plays the 7-drop, and he's playing the 7-drop. And here it is, actually coming into play and hitting 2 cards from his hand, the Masked Saiyan's hand, and that's pretty powerful, because that's essentially like a Broly for 5 energy. He's going all in now, and
crazy.
wow.
Don't tell me he's gonna win this.
Yeah, I know, he's tapped out, and Richard's just gonna go all in here, and he's gonna lose to a Twisted Zamasu, and he took 2 cards from his opponent, so his opponent's down 2 cards on this combo.
I'm astounded. I've never. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can combo out. I'm hoping. Come on. Ooh, okay.
All right. Another super combo. Super combo off the river.
Oh my goodness.
And you got another. Yep. And it looks like they fist bumped and they fist bumped again. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So. Unfortunate for Daryan. Oh man.
Oh no.
Richard came through with the Twisted Justice Zamasu just to take that game from the Masked Saiyan, and wow. You had to feel confident being the Masked Saiyan player there, because you had gotten game 1, and now Richard here. I'm sorry, I did not change the games here, but that is a 2-1 on Richard. Let me go ahead and change that now for you guys. Sorry, I'm just lagging.
That is really unfortunate. I was pulling for the Masked Saiyan. I thought he had this great control of the game.
I thought the matchup was clearly in his favor. And we didn't see too many things from the sideboard for Richard. It was just a change in playstyle.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to know how to play against Masked Saiyan, or see what the Masked Saiyan deck is all about, because there's so many iterations of the Masked Saiyan deck. There's a mono, there's the red-black, and there's red-blue-black, and I've even seen things as far as like a red-green-black, So there's a couple different ways that you can take about it, but that's a Masu just coming out strong from the side deck. Not only the blocker, not only the Goku Black, which is also excellent in that match, but they have access to a huge bomb in Twisted Justice Zamasu, and it's searchable. It's all searchable off the beautiful Goku Black. So
definitely
so great. So great.
You gotta feel for the Masked Saiyan though. He's worked so hard to figure out how to play this deck, and I will admit Richard found a way to make only this crazy deck idea to Yeah. He's made this crazy deck, and all of a sudden it's done this well, and I think that is amazing to see.
I can't believe that Twisted Justice hit 2 super combos.
It must be nice, every time it's happened to me, they rip a card out of my hand.
Always. That's like the Broly syndrome. The Broly syndrome is like that card must hit a negate or a super combo. And it's just so crazy how many times that actually plays to being true. And it's 2 random cards. It's not like you're looking at your opponent's hand and hitting him, but you end up hitting these cards, and then you just feel like literally so. You feel insane. And that was just ridiculous. If you're Richard, you feel amazing.
Or?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. I just...
But that's pretty much it. I'm going to go and see how our guys did. Find Dusty, because Dusty's disappeared on me this whole stream. Thank you for filling in for me, by the way.
Of course. It was. Thank you for letting me be on here. I appreciate it.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really appreciate it. We're going to be right back with a top 32 announcement, hopefully. If Jim doesn't kick us out too early, I understand if he does. I mean, it's almost midnight here, and I could only imagine it's almost 3 a.m. in the East Coast. Yeah. So thank you guys, fans back home, PBG faithfuls, KTM faithfuls. I know over there it's like 3 a.m. And thank you guys all from international waters watching this event. We'll be right back, if anything, with some closing words with Dusty and some top 32 announcements. So thank you guys again so much for staying tuned in, and we'll be right back right after these top 32 announcements. See you guys.
Bye.